Alright, this video is how to add text to your posters or just using text in general in Photoshop. So now that we have your recycle poster set up, it's the right size, it's the right dimensions, it's the right resolution, and you have it placed on top of the background, we can now add your text, your motto, your tagline, whatever it needs to be. So what we do is, depending on what tool you are on in Photoshop, you need to switch that and make sure you are ready to type text. So your text tool is right down here. It's initially should be set up to type horizontally, which would just be regular typing, but there are other ways that you can type. You can go vertical, and we're not going to get into the typing mask tools right now. So depending on what you want to do, you can use the vertical if you'd like, but I would just keep it horizontal and keep it simple. So once you click on that tool, you are good to go to type. All you really have to do is just click anywhere and then you can start typing, or you can drag over a section and make a text box. I usually just click and start typing and then move it around, but I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel on that just so I can show you the other way. So if we have this, I can click anywhere and then I can start typing from that location. One thing you might have noticed is when I started typing, it made my text selection a new layer. If you can't see this window on your screen, then you need to click on the layers button right here on your screen to bring it up. I'm going to go ahead and just cancel that so I can move this stuff around. If you don't have this visible, then you might be on a different setting. So if you're on Essentials or Painting or Design for some reason, I'm having it on Design right now. I can click through all these different parts, which I'm not getting into, but make sure your layers are visible. So again, just to show you, if I click over here, getting ready to start typing, it makes my text layer a new layer. That means it won't get it mixed up with the picture or the background, and I'll be able to move this independently. So if I start typing, I don't have a set thing here, so I'm just going to keep it simple and just say don't litter. Notice how this went off of the screen here. I need it back on the poster. It's going to be too big to fit in here. If I want to accept this, that's fine. I can hit the check mark or enter again. I'm just going to hit the check mark so I can show you how to move this around. Right now I'm on the type tool. If I click this, I can't move it. So I need to click my move tool, which is the very top tool. If I click it, and now I can select my text and move it around anywhere on the picture, but as we already said, it's too big to fit onto the poster. So if I move it here and I want to change the size of this, there's a couple of different things I can do. Since I'm on the move tool right now, the only way I can change my font size would be to make sure that my text layer is selected, which means it would be highlighted in blue, and then I can come over here to my character menu and I can change my font size this way. So if I click on any of these, it's going to change that size. If you do not have this character and paragraph menu here, let me show you how to get that. So if I click on the text tool, you can also change the size this way. If I click on the text tool and then I click on my text, I can highlight it and then change my size over here. I can change my font. There's tons of fonts for you to pick from. And I can also change the way that it's centered, either to the left, center, or the right, the alignment. And I can also change the color of the text by clicking on this box. If I click on the box, and if I click over here, it'll change the color. You can select any color in that arrangement right there. But if you don't have the character and paragraph menus, this is the box that you want to click. So right here it says Toggle Character and Paragraph Panels. If I click it, it'll remove it. If I click it again, it brings it back up. I find it easier to use this because I can do that with the move tool. Right now I can't do anything else until I click the accept button, so I'm going to go ahead and accept that, and I'll just leave it on that right there. That's fine with that color. Let me show you a couple other things that you can do with this character menu. First thing, let me show you these settings on the bottom. If you click these, they work like toggle buttons, so you can turn them on and off just by clicking on them. So if I wanted to make it bold, I can click right here. If I wanted to make it italicized, I can click there. Bold doesn't really fit, so I'm going to click that off. You can make it all caps, make the first one large, and then the next one small caps. So if you click through these, they'll toggle on and off as you click them. The other settings, depending on what text type you have, some of them work, some of them don't. So this one right here is just the font size. I can either click the drop down menu and move it that way, or if you noticed when I click over, or I drag my mouse over the big T here, I can click and hold. If I drag to the left, it'll actually make the font size smaller. If I click and hold and drag to the right, it'll make the font size larger. So it's just a faster way of doing it sometimes if you don't like using drop-down menus, because this only goes up to 72. Instead of clicking and having to double click and then type the font size in, I can just click and hold here and drag all the way over and keep going. Obviously that's too big, so I don't want to do that. This one controls the space in between two lines of text, which I don't have to worry about because I only have one line. And this one controls the space between characters. So if I click and hold here, as you can see, like the space in between each one is expanding. But again, it makes it move off of my poster, so I'm just going to take that back. These two right here control the horizontal size of your text and the vertical size of your text. So say I wanted to click and hold here and I keep dragging it over, it's going to make them taller without making them wider. So I can make my text size bigger here to fill up more of my poster without having it go off the sides. Now it's starting to go off the top there, so I'm going to click my move tool and just move it down a little bit. So if I wanted to make it horizontally bigger, I'll just show you. They're getting larger, but I don't want it to go off the page, so I'm just going to undo that. Shortcut for undo, for those of you that don't remember, is Control-Z. The last thing I want to show you just for this poster project with using text is adding a drop shadow. If I come up to Layer and I go to Layer Style while I have my text layer selected, all I have to do is click on Drop Shadow, and then it will add the drop shadow right beneath my letters. So what that does, it gives it that little bit of a shadow beneath your letters to make it stand out from the actual poster. Now, once you are in the drop shadow menu, you can actually control different parts of it. You can control the distance, which will make it a little bit separated from the actual letters itself. You can control the spread, which will make them wider, and you can make the size of it bigger too. You can also control the angle if I wanted it in a different spot, and you can also control the opacity, which makes it darker or lighter. Once you click OK, then it will accept those changes or modifications, and then you'll see your drop shadow added here in effect. If you don't like the way it looks, you can always get rid of it by right-clicking and then going to Clear Layer Style, and it will delete it right off of the text. So if you want to add drop shadows, again, it's Layer, Layer Style, Drop Shadow, set your settings, and then click OK. That's the end of what I wanted to show you for adding text, and on the next video I will show you how to save your projects.